In this video, I'm going to talk about various settings available while provisioning Copilot. Now, there are two steps. One is while creating Copilot and post creation of Copilot. So, once you start creating Copilot and during the creation time, you have an option to set the Copilot name, set the icon for the Copilot, set up the description, put some instructions so that the language model understand what type of bot is requested while creating the Copilot, adding the knowledge source. However, there are limited options set available while adding a knowledge source during the creation time, but many things light up post you create a bot and then add a knowledge source. Edit a language, select the solution and schema name. Now, these two options are hidden, so you need to enable that, and then you will be able to select the solution and edit the schema name while creating the copilot. Now, this is when you start creating a copilot. Once your copilot is provisioned, then there are a lot of options which gets opened up. So here again, you can set up the copilot name, description. You can give some instruction to the model, change icon for the copilot. You can delete the copilot. You can export the copilot. You can share the copilot with your team members or the copilot authors. Connect copilot with application insight. Again, it's like a Azure service, whereby here all the telemetry from your Copilot will be tracked in Application Insight, and from there you will be able to generate a lot of insights. It is useful when you want to troubleshoot the performance of the Copilot or check the behavior of how your Copilot is behaving. You can change the Copilot language. You can extract various identifiers like the Copilot ID, app ID, tenant ID, schema ID. So all those things can be extracted using the Copilot settings. You can configure entities. You can configure custom entities. You can set Copilot authentication, configure skills if you want to extend your Copilot. You can add actions, publish the copilot, view analytics. Now, this analytics is different from the application insight analytics because this analytics is completely based out of Power BI. So, this is out of the box analytics which is available. You can add or edit the topics, add or edit knowledge, configure the channels, navigate to the debug mode, and you can even save the snapshot of the chat as well. Now, this is how the screen looks like. So if you navigate to Copilot detail, here you can change the Copilot name, change the icon. You can navigate to the advanced section to find out some more information about application insights and check the metadata. Here you can check the generative AI. So the generative AI. So for navigating to this particular option, you need to be inside a Copilot and then click on settings, and then from there you will come to this page. So generative AI will decide uh, the copilot. It basically allows your copilot to use gen AI to identify the most appropriate combination of actions and topics to respond to a user. Classic is all about whatever custom topics you build, and it will respond according to that. Then you have some instructions around AI integration tools, so you can make use of Azure Cognitive Service for language AI models using Azure OpenAI Copilot SDK. So there's not much setting over here, but then it will point you to the Learn document for so that you understand the steps and the integration process for integrating it. So there is no specific settings of AI integration from the application itself. Then you can set up security like sharing, authentication, web channel security. You can configure entities if you are not happy with out of the box entity, and if you want to have your own custom entity depending on your business requirement, you can go ahead and do that. You can add a skill. Skills basically extends your copilot's conversational capability by automation of a series of action within a topic. Now, languages, you can set a primary language and then add additional language for your copilot. There are some limitation while adding a language if you're using a gen AI capability. I'm going to walk you through that as well. And from a natural language understanding perspective, there is a article for you to read when you want to use Azure Cognitive Service for languages. So let's jump into the demo. So what I've done is I have logged into the Copilot Studio. So I've navigated to the URL copilotstudio.preview.microsoft.com. Now here I have a lot of Copilot I have created. So what I'm going to do, I'll go into one of the Copilot. So let me go into say Girish Expense Claim Assistance Copilot. Now here, if I'm inside a Copilot, then lot of settings option gets enabled. So there is an option for me to click on settings. But before I even go to the settings, let me walk you through some of the items which I can edit over here. So if I click on edit over here, then I can edit the name, description, and the instructions provided to the model. So if I click on edit, I can change the name, I can change the icon, I can change the description, and I can even put an instruction. Now, if you see an instruction, there is an option to insert a variable as well. So that's a that we can make the instruction more dynamic. Also, I can add a knowledge. So if I want to add a knowledge, I can see that I can add various knowledge. Basically, it's a grounding data which I can use to direct my copilot to point to a specific content. So I can point it to a public website, files, scattered files. It can be a PDF document, it can be a Word document. I can point it to a SharePoint and OneDrive documents, Dataverse limited to 15 tables, and there are many other external enterprise data options like Azure SQL, Salesforce, SAP, Oracle SQL, AD or Get, CSV, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of integration parameters over here. Now, if I'm creating a copilot, okay, so if I just click on create a new copilot, then I have an option to skip the configuration and I can change the name, I can change the icon, I can change the description, instruction, and I can add a knowledge source. Now, if I click on add knowledge, while creation time, I can only add public website in SharePoint and OneDrive. But once the copilot is created, other options also get lighted up. Okay, so from a creation perspective, only a couple of options will be enabled. Now, apart from all these 4 or 5 items which you see over in the screen, if you click on 3 dots, click on edit advanced settings, here you can change the solution and the schema name. And also, if you want to create a classic bot, there is an option to navigate from here as well. So this is an important instruction to remember if you want to point your copilot to a specific solution or change the schema name or create a classic bot. Now, let me cancel this creation process and then go into the copilot which I was talking about. So let me go into the Girish claim assistance copilot which I've created long back. And now from here we looked into various options. So I can edit the topic, I can add an action, I can publish the bot from here. And if I have published the bot to a demo website, then I can navigate to the demo website from here. So here it is taking me to the demo website whereby I have published this Copilot into a separate application. On the right hand side, I can test my Copilot. Now, if you see here, test your Copilot, there is in the text mode, debug mode is on. Now, if you click the 3 dots over here, I can save the snapshot. So I have an option to save the snapshot. I can manage the connection. I can flag an issue, or I can turn off the debug mode. So if I turn off the debug mode, then if you see over here, this is just text mode. If I turn on the debug mode, here you will see debug mode as on. Then there is a conversation map. If I want to see which topic is getting triggered, I can go into the conversation map and then I can start my conversation. If I type in hello, then this particular copilot will start responding, and then the conversation map will reflect accordingly to the topic which it has triggered. Then I can turn on and off. I can restart the conversation. So here, if I click on this refresh icon, I can restart the conversation. Also, if you see on the button over here, I can publish the bot, I can navigate to setting. But if you click on 3 dots over here, I can directly go to the demo website. I can export the copilot, I can import the copilot. So if I export the copilot, basically it will take you to the solution page. If I import the copilot, again from a solution perspective, it will take you to the solution page over here. So if I click on import copilot and then click on go to power app solution, it will take you to the make.powerapps interface, and then from there you can go into the solutions. Also, you can delete the copilot from here and you can share the copilot. So if I want to share or collaborate with other security groups user, I can do that. I can put the name of the user and then the user will pop up, and then I can specify a specific right. So if I want to grant a specific role or a permissions, I can do that from here, and then I can click on share, and email will be sent to the user when the copilot is shared. Now, from a setting perspective, if I click on settings, I'm now inside the context of a copilot. I'll be able to see various settings. So The settings are general, advanced. So if I click on general, I can see the Copilot's name, I can see the icon. If I click on advanced, then I can look into the application insights. I can see various data ID. So if you see the metadata over here, I can, from just by look of a glance, I can see the environment ID, tenant ID, Copilot app ID, and the schema name. I have an option to copy here as well. So I can copy into the clipboard the environment ID, tenant ID, Copilot app ID, schema name ID. And if you see over here, it has already copied into the clipboard. AI integration tool. Now, before we go into the AI integration tool, I need to show you here that I can export this bot into a solution from here as well, and I can delete the bot from here itself. AI integration tool, this is just a hyperlink to the learn document. So if you want to integrate artificial intelligence, so Azure Cognitive Service for Language, AI models from Azure OpenAI, or if you want to do some custom development using Copilot SDK, then you can do it from here. Generative AI, I given you an option like if you want your bot to use the AI features and not just rely on classic, you can use generative, which is in a preview state. Basically, it allows your copilot to use Gen AI to identify the most appropriate combination of actions and topic to respond to a user and provide more natural conversation experience. Here you can put set out the temperature. Basically, here you can say copilot content moderation, how accurate you want the response to be. You can set the copilot generates fewer answer but response should be more relevant, so temperature is high. But if you want temperature to be low, then this option will generate the most answers but the quantity is more but the quality would be less. Okay, so this is how you select this. From a security perspective, you can set up additional security measure. Now security is split into multiple options. One is sharing, which we have already seen. If you want to share this bot with your users, or if you want to share or collaborate with different users, here you can do that. This option is authentication. This is about how you want the bot to be responding. Now, you can authenticate manually, you can authenticate with Microsoft Entra ID, or like in Teams and Power Apps, or you may decide that this bot needs to be in public channel and I want no authentication. You can do that as well. Web channel security. From a web channel security, here you will be specifying Microsoft Copilot Studio provides several channels by default, some of which uses direct line to facilitate communication between Copilot and your client application. Now here the secrets are already generated. You can regenerate the secret. Also, you can copy the secret. Now, if you turn on the secured access, then you will not be able to use demo website. So if I turn this on, it will give me a pop-up which will say that this action renders the demo website unavailable. So if you do not want to use demo website, then you can mark this secured access and then your line will be secured in terms of chatting capability. Web channel security, here this setting is not mandatory though, but then if you think like you want to set up a direct line between the your app, your client application and the copilot, then yes, you can configure over here. Entities, by default there are a lot of different entities which are used day in day out, but then if you want to configure a separate entity, you can do that. You can even configure a new entity or register an external entity. Skills, if you want to have an extension capability for your copilot. Basically, skills extend copilot's conversational ability by automating a series of actions. So they enable the copilot to do some action, like the action can be booking an appointment, sending a notification email, managing the task. So all those things you can do using skills. Languages, as you see over here, you can set a primary language. From a language perspective, if I click on add language, here you will get a message that you cannot add another language because you're already using Gen AI. So your copilot is currently using Gen AI. So that's why you cannot use multiple language, because to add support for another language, please switch to classic mode. So if you want to add more languages, what you need to do is you need to get away with the Gen AI feature. You click on classic, you click on save, and once this is saved, you can navigate to language and then start adding whatever language you want for the bot. So if I click on add language, now I can add multiple languages and I can save it. So my bot would be uh, presenting the information in different language. Now there are other things which you can do from a language perspective, which I'm going to cover in a separate video. Language understanding, natural language understanding. Here you can integrate Azure Cognitive Service for languages. You can manage those connection in Power Apps. So again, this is a topic for another day, but this particular video or video segment is basically to understand various settings capability available through the UI. Okay, so anything which you can do using the UI, I have just walked you through, so that you are aware which all feature sets are available in which all sections. So uh, there are some settings which are available within the context of a bot, and then there are some settings which are available in the Copilot Studio itself. So if you click on three dots over here, from here you can navigate to various application. From library, you can view all the actions basically which are available as a part of the library. So you can see various connectors, conversational prompts, etc. If I click on add an item, here you can add various components, and this is specific to a copilot which you want to extend. From a create option, you can navigate to various templates as well, as you see over here. And lastly but not the least, if you click on settings over here, click on session details. Here you will be able to see various identifier for your environment. From a Copilot Studio perspective, here you will see the host name, UX version, environment IDs. From a session details perspective, here you will see the session ID, tenant ID, object ID, and then from a Power Platform environment details perspective, here you can see the org ID. This is at a environment level. Okay, so here you will be able to see the instance URL, cluster environment, etc. So that's it for this is all about the settings which are available within Copilot Studio while authoring a Copilot. Thanks for watching.